Hello and welcome to level 141 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, the gaming podcast with bold takes and no strings attached. I am Jeremy, here with a special guest, a special compadre, if you will, my fiance, Shonda.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, my dear. How's your evening been?
Not too bad. My voice is still a little gone, so I'm a little
Yeah,
scratchy in the throat, but nothing too crazy.
yeah, you have been battling a cold for a couple of weeks that I unfortunately passed along to you.
You
Um,
did. You
which
infected
is,
me.
though it's a cold, has sounded like tuberculosis this whole time. Um,
Fair
but
enough.
but you're finally on the mend, which is good.
Finally. And can I just say, this angle, I'm
Hmm.
loving it.
Yeah,
Looks good on you, babe.
I appreciate it. This may be an illusion of things. I may be alluding to things to come, a format,
Mm.
perhaps a
Easter egg?
even, yeah, perhaps a show being resurrected of some sorts.
Ooh, love
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. So it's trying it out. Um, Ladies, gentlemen, chickens, ducks, and hens. Welcome into level 141 of the pod. We are glad to have you here with us. We have a couple of compelling topics that we're going to talk about. But before we start there, we start where we always start, and that's talking about what we're playing. So, you're the guest, Shondi dear. How about you tell the people what you've been playing?
I just finished AC Shadows, finally. I know that was a game that you were a little upset with me about taking so long to start,
Hmm.
but I will say it was definitely worth the wait. It was a wonderful game. However, I will say I probably had more fun playing the female character than I did playing the male character. Um, but what I really love about it is the genuine, I would say, how do I want to phrase it? Like it felt very true to the what is the word? Like the strengths of each
Mm,
character were
yeah.
vastly different. And so you really had to pick and choose when you would play each one,
Hmm.
for which sort of mission or side quest or whatever you're playing. So that was kind of cool. But I tend to lean towards loving the assassin side of things because again,
Right.
love Assassin's Creed. And so I really, really loved Naue, probably way more than Yasuke.
Yeah. I remember watching you play it, that you were mostly her.
Hmm.
But also even like, so people may remember that I've talked about how, and I think you've said before that like AC Valhalla is your favorite game. And
Yeah.
you have the character of Eivor, which you can play either as male or female, and you tend to play her as female.
Yeah.
Um,
All the many times that I played that game, I
yeah,
played Ivor as female. Yeah.
yeah. And in a lot of games I play, I also tend to play as females. Like the one game I talked about that I loved was Rise of the Ronin. And I created siblings, one male, one female, and I chose to play as the female. Just feels a little bit more interesting how you
Right.
interact with the world. But you're done with AC Shadows. You completed the main story at least. I don't know if you're done with the game for sure. But yeah, overall, how would you grade it overall? And then how would you compare it to your favorite game, Valhalla?
Ooh, that's very interesting. In the world of AC, I would say I rate both of these pretty high.
Yeah.
In the scheme of it, like they're probably one and two
Okay.
interchangeably for
Yeah.
me. There's just something about like Norse mythology and like that whole world that I love, and so I think that game will always
Hmm.
just hold like a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But this one was just, it was beautiful. It was such a pretty
Hmm.
game. And there's something about the culture and the richness of the culture that was represented that I again love. I love storytelling. I love the super long games, both of which they are. I'm not completely done. I've done a lot of the side quests. I haven't done everything, and you know me, I will go back and do everything.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that I would say that they're like one and two for me.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming Black Flag is number 3 then,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
did the
yeah.
okay, because you've played all of the modern AC games,
Mhm, mhm,
Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and now Shadows. So, oh, and also let's not forget Mirage. Mirage is also in there, right?
mhm.
So, okay, but those are your one, two, threes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. 1,
Has
2.
there
But
been?
I mean, Black Flag is the one that really made me love AC, like
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed. Like that was the one that really sucked me in. But I genuinely like the fighting style more now than
Yeah.
then. Right? Like I went back and tried to replay that and I was like, man, this is hard. Right? And it was hard then for me because I was such a baby gamer, so to speak. I probably kind of am now. I don't know. But I find that this is much more enjoyable,
Yeah.
of a fighting style for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They borrowed that kind of Dark Souls type of combat and brought it in, made it a bit more of a RPG than instead of just a stealth game. So they've kind of
Yeah.
evolved it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Has there been anything else you've been playing?
I have not. That was like, you know me, I sort of get into a game and like that's the only thing I can play. I
Hmm.
don't because I get into the world and I get into the whole storyline and I don't want anything outside of that because it just feels like I start muddying or mixing things up. We're very
Hmm.
different in that way because you love to play a bunch of different games at different times.
I mean, I have the attention span of a squirrel. It has to, if it does not dig its claws into me immediately, I tend to just wander off and try to find something else. So I've been trying to be more intentional with playing games
Mhm.
to complete them. And it's interesting because whenever I do, I enjoy the game more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like reminding myself to do that.
Mhm.
Um, I think about like Final Fantasy 16, loved it. I think about again Riders of the Ronin, Dynasty Warriors Origins. I intentionally tried to play and beat these games, and they were 20, 30, mostly 30, close to 40-hour treks. And I love them. I
Mhm.
genuinely just love the experiences. So I'm trying to make sure that I pursue that a bit more.
Mhm.
Um, I think the other thing that's interesting too, like you do have a fascination with Norse mythology. I've kind of grown to have more of an appreciation of Japanese culture, and that's mostly been tracking with the games I've been playing as well. However, not recently. So I'll talk about the games that I've been playing because I've mostly just been playing one. And that is The Executive Movie Industry Tycoon. Part of the reason I'm playing that is because announcement, we're going to release a Let's Play series of it on YouTube. So people can watch these episodes, kind of explore this game, see how it works, and then we can kind of see that's what people want. So that's mostly what I've been playing, learning it like more deeply than I did before and finding out different things, but it's been fun. Obviously, I have a film maker, movie maker background. So it's been great to kind of, see the parallels in that, see the things that are interesting in that, and then like, just say, hey, like, oh, scripting, filming, genres, themes, all these things make sense. Yeah, if you're going to have a sci-fi theme, you might want to have it be, taking place in space. You might not want a sci-fi theme that's a dragon sci-fi type movie. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's actually interesting because one of the themes in the game is dragon, and I see it and I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do with this. I don't know what you know, you know, opposite of me making something intentionally like How to Train Your Dragon, which I don't think is just an option for a movie like that. I don't know how to make a dragon. What's a dragon movie? I don't know. But that's predominantly what I've been playing. It's just really that game because we're doing a Let's Play series on it. If I had to give a nod to something else that I might have been playing, I would say it's probably Medieval Dynasty, going back to that a little bit. Though I haven't played it in a while and I'm really itching to get back into it, but things have been so busy, I just haven't had the time. But I mean, hopefully, well, this weekend is not going to work because we're recording this on October 1st. Tomorrow, Ghost of Yote releases. So I'm not going to be playing Medieval Dynasty this weekend. I'm going to be playing Ghost of Yote this weekend and possibly for the foreseeable future. So I don't know when I'll get back into that, but that's what I've been playing.
I'm super excited for
Yeah,
the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. That was probably one of the most visually stunning and exciting games I've played in a long time.
yeah,
I'm super excited about that.
yeah. We talked about before in the podcast. I don't know where Ghost of Tsushima ranks for me of all games of all time, but I could probably immediately put it in my top 10.
Yeah.
Um, Ghost of Yotei, by all accounts, is supposed to be better. So, see, we talked about before going back to AC, because I talked about, man, I'd love to play AC Shadows because Japanese culture, different things like that, all of that again. You're just kind of getting around to getting done with it. So this is maybe around when I would jump in, but I got no reason to now because Ghost of Yotei is here. So I might journey to that later on once I get tired of Yotei and I'm done with that. Um, yeah, that's it for what I've been playing.
I think if you love that culture, you're gonna like the game. I think it's
Yeah,
fun in that way. I know you have your issues with AC, the whole kind of world of it, especially the length of it.
yeah,
But I think you could play it in a way that it won't be too long for you, and I think you'll enjoy it.
yeah. I always kind of put the little bit of the onus on myself because I always tend to wander and therefore bloat my playtime with those types of games. I've talked about before how I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and I just wandered around killing people for 20 hours. I probably could have beat the game by the amount of time I spent just wandering around trying to
Hmm.
kill, find people and things to kill. But yeah, that's a little bit on me. So I'm pretty sure I would be able to do that. But yeah, sometimes it feels like AC has a little bloat, and I just wish it was a little more focused. And I felt like that's where the Ghost series has kind of been. They have side quests too, but it just overall feels a little bit more focused. And that's what I appreciate. But again, my playing habits have changed. I'm playing longer games. You know, one of my favorite games I played recently was that I forgot exactly what it was called, but the Rome game that was like 60 hours, and I just
Oh.
loved it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a try. I'm gonna have to give it a try. Well, I guess that's it for games we've been playing. Seems like we've just been playing each one game respectively, but it's like we're all in on that game.
Hmm.
So we're going to talk about topics, a couple of really compelling topics, I believe. So I'm curious. You went first on the games we're playing. Do you want me to go first with the topic? Because I think mine's is it's more ranty and it's less interesting of a topic overall, at least to me. So I can't go first, but if you want to go first, you're more than welcome to.
Be my guest.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna mute really quick here for a cough, which I probably shouldn't call out on the podcast. But like you were saying, you're getting over a cold, and I'm agent or patient zero, so I got a little bit of lingering stuff. So my topic relates to news that dropped down today. Microsoft Xbox.
I know where we're going with this.
Microsoft Xbox made an announcement. That announcement was, hey, we're going to provide you even more value on Xbox Game Pass. We're going to make the Ubisoft Plus classic games available, more EA games available. There will be, you know, 75 day one releases. Um, the cloud gaming will now be able to stream up to 1440p resolution. You have Fortnite, the crew built in. You don't have to pay for that. It's built into the service. We're providing more value than ever. Oh, also, we're going to do a 50% price increase. So, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is what I have, it's the one where you get the day one. It's the only one that offers day one releases. Um, and you can use it on Xbox as well as PC. That goes from being $20 a month to $30 a month. And I think this is what the episode will probably be titled. Um, See a Game Pass, it's been good. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you already canceled it. Like,
I already canceled it.
yeah. Hmm.
It's just absurd. Um,
Well, I think it sucks for me because like that's one of the main ways that I find new games to play
mhm.
is exploring what's free on there. I watch the videos, because I'm a visual person. I got to see the video before I can play it. And now, like, I don't even want that anymore. I'll go figure out and find a game somewhere else. I'll do
Yeah.
my research for that much more money. That's ridiculous.
$30 a month is tough,
Hmm.
especially when you think about everything else that you pay for subscription wise now. Kind of helped myself out recently because I also did a little cancellation of Hulu Disney.
Mm.
So that freed up a little bit of change there. And I also recently did a cancellation of Paramount Plus. So there's a trend emerging here, but $30 is untenable. If you're someone that passively uses it because you discover maybe new games or interesting games every once in a while, 30 you
It
could
doesn't make
probably
sense.
you could stumble on
Yeah.
those games someplace else on sale or on Steam.
Hmm.
Like right now we're in the middle of a Steam sale. I could probably, I mean, talking about 400 games, I could probably buy 400 games on Steam for
Hmm.
$30 right now. Um, yeah,
But
it
see,
just,
what's challenging for me about that though is I don't really like playing on a computer. I'm not
mhm,
great at it. I'm not like
yeah,
the keyboard thing. I can play with my keyboard on here, but I'd rather have the big screen. I want because I play the story games, right? And
hmm,
so
yeah,
in so many ways, this is such an inconvenience for me. It
hmm,
sucks, but also it's not worth $30 a month. That's insane. That's
yeah.
such a price increase. I'll go to, what is it? What do we go? Disc
This
replay,
this
right?
replay,
I'll
your
go through
GameStop,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll go to disc replay, find a few cheap games, buy them, and if I like them, whatever, right?
yeah,
If I don't, no big deal.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing I was thinking about too, like we have a backlog of games that we haven't really played yet. We're gonna have to start exercising that
Yeah.
backlog. And I mean, for instance, I think with you and I in particular, I mean, it really depends because you play usually you'll have like maybe a larger game that requires more time. And then when you're done with that, you kind of play like smaller scale games that
Hmm.
are, they don't take that. They're maybe 5, 7 hour, 10-hour games, right? They're not like these 30, 40,
They're like
50,
palate
60-hour epics.
cleansers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So I can see that having more of an impact on you because that's mostly the type of games that are on that platform.
Hmm.
And it's very easy and accessible to just look them up and say, oh, something like, oh, Tunic or oh, Grizz, like something that's smaller scale, or oh, something like a Limbo, right? Like, and then play it, little palette cleanser, and then you move on to the next big thing.
Yeah. That's what I loved it for. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Where, me, like, I mostly wait for these bigger releases that I play that take me forever to beat. And then I usually end up getting distracted by the same 4 to 5 strategy or sim games that take several hours to beat. So it's a little bit less of an impact on how I play.
Hmm.
But I think about like the games I bought this year. I bought Dynasty Warriors Origins. I bought Dragon's Dogma 2, and I will buy Ghost of Yote. And we're in October now.
Yeah.
So, and there's not really any big Xbox games coming out the rest of this year. So, yeah, maybe, well, except for maybe I'd say like the remaster of Oblivion. But next year, Fable comes out. That's big. But I might be in a position where it's like it makes more sense to buy it.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
we got a backlog. We can take those used games in, get 7 cents for them, and
Seven
throw it
cents.
throw it on these $70, $80 games, and then you get them that way. But
Yeah.
$30 a month. I mean, that's an additional $120 a year.
Hmm.
It's it's just not it's not practical. Adding a bunch of stuff no one asked for. You think I want to play old Ubisoft games? I don't even want to play the new ones. Like who's that value for?
Sure.
It's just, I mean, it's I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what Xbox is doing. I don't know where their mind is at. But this is, especially when you think about all the recent price hikes they did with their hardware.
Well, we know
I
what
don't.
they're doing, right? Like inflation is up, all this stuff is up. They're just competing, right? Just like everybody else is. Everything is going up. The other day, HBO Max, I got that alert that Netflix did, right? Where it's like, "Oh, are
Mhm.
you traveling?" It's like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm at home, but I've shared this with my family and my friends. They should be allowed to use this if they want to."
Yeah.
They're all kind of getting on that whole bandwagon, right?
Yeah.
So I'm canceling them too. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen is what's always happens is that there's going to be atrophy, there's going to be
Mhm.
attrition, and they're going to condense, and then it's not going to be viable. And then some company's going to buy some other company, and they're going to combine. And it's just going to they're just going to
Yeah.
eat themselves
Yep.
because they're just pricing out their
Mhm.
customers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You said like, I mean, you said today, right? When there was a news article that talked about how the site crashed because everybody was going
Hmm.
in and trying to cancel.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's one of the only ways we have a voice. We have to
Yeah.
use it.
The wallet speaks louder than anything else, especially
Mhm.
right now. And so, yeah, that's how you say this is absurd. This is ridiculous. You know,
Absolutely. Mhm.
um, it is quickly gone from being by like hands down the best value in gaming to being less of that. How much less of that? That's arguable. I don't know.
Sure.
Um, yeah, but especially like you were saying, you're predominantly a console gamer, so that if you're someone that also plays PC, you're like, whatever. Like this whole thing has been
Yeah.
dumb. Paying for multiplayer to PC players has been dumb for decades because they've never had to do it, right?
Yeah.
And here we are paying Xbox and PlayStation $10 a month so just so we can play our friend in Fortnite or something.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it just gets to a point where like, okay, this is ridiculous. You guys got to go back to the drawing board and figure out something else.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
we understand you're trying to make money, but there reaches a point of absurdity. This is a point of absurdity. We'll see what they do, but based on a lot of decisions, they're probably going to do something stupid because that's just what Xbox has been doing. You
Sure.
know? Yeah.
Arguably too, like, I would rather give my money directly to the people making these games, right?
Sure.
So, instead of waiting for it to come on Game Pass, I know that when I go buy one of these games at GameStop or wherever, I know the money's going to the people who've created this thing,
Hmm.
right? This and quite frankly, they're works of art, they're masterpieces, right?
Yeah.
People put time, sweat, tears, and I know not all of them are everybody's cup of tea or everybody's kind of into that thing, but people still put a lot of
Yeah.
work into that, right?
Yeah. Most games, like most movies, are bad, but like you said, there is someone that is putting they are putting a piece of themselves into something that
Yeah.
takes a bit of courage,
Mhm.
and it takes creativity and vision in order to try to execute and make that happen, right? Like, we talk about how many bad games and bad movies there are out there. How many more haven't been made because people didn't have the courage to do them, right? So you kind of
Mhm.
give them the ticket of that, but then it's also the matter of also my dollars. Um, you did bad, you made a bad game, and I gave you something I feel like
Mhm.
it's not worth that amount of money. Um, but yeah, you're right. It does allow you an opportunity to more directly support the developers for games that you love or they tend to make games that you really enjoy. So I mean that's helpful there, but I mean what you're losing is the convenience. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Like, are you okay with losing the convenience?
Yeah. For $30 a month, I'm definitely okay with
Yeah,
losing that
yeah. You
convenience.
you are not
Yeah.
convenient enough for $30 a month. That
Not at
is
all.
insane.
I
Yeah,
mean, arguably 20 was kinda rough, right? When it was 10, it
yeah.
made a little more sense, like, that's, like,
Mhm.
$10 a month, okay, right?
Yeah.
20 didn't feel super great, 30, absolutely not.
Yeah, and the price hike is happening anyway. It's the matter of trying to stuff these other things in to say, look at the value that no one wants. I
Yeah.
don't think I heard anyone pining for Ubisoft Plus classic games. And they have it in their announcement. It's an $8 a month value. Well, no, it's zero because I don't want it.
Yeah.
I understand that's what they charge for it, but I don't
Yeah.
want it. So it's $0. But you're
Absolutely.
upping the cost of this thing that I want at least $10.
Mhm.
It's like, you know what? It's ridiculous. I haven't played a PC game through Xbox Game Pass for a long time, so I'm not going to miss it there. On the Xbox is usually where I miss it. Like I talk about Medieval Dynasty, I started playing it through Xbox Game Pass. So the Xbox save that I have for that game isn't going to work anymore. But I bought a hard copy of it on PlayStation. So, or maybe not a hard copy, maybe a digital, but I bought a version of it on PlayStation. So that's what I'm playing. I got it, right? I directly supported that developer and I got it. I won't lose it just because someone decides to be an idiot and hike prices by 50%.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I mean, but that's my topic. Just Xbox being Xbox, just going the ways of Sega, just making a bunch of confounding dumb decisions that don't make any sense. So yeah,
Yeah. So my
what
topic.
your topic?
Okay. So this is kind of an interesting one. I'm a huge, as much as I love gaming, I'm a huge reader. I
Hmm.
love books. I love stories. I love series. I love all the things. And I love all types of books. You love movies, right? And the
Yes.
thing that we sort of all of these things have in common is storytelling. Again,
Hmm.
my favorite part of gaming, right? So
Yeah.
I want to kind of talk about storytelling in games versus books and movies and kind of just exploring maybe some deeper concepts with that. And do we think arguably storytelling in games is better or worse, the same? Just kind of dig into that a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a really good topic. I've thought about that a lot in the past, so
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to explore it. Yeah. So, how do you want to start that conversation? You going to kind of want to go your thoughts on some things?
Sure. I mean, if that's sort of the setup of this, we can absolutely kind of talk about that. I think
Okay.
one of the beautiful things about gaming is the storytelling. And there's a lot of things that is kind of interesting about that because there's a big difference between storytelling in a game versus storytelling in a movie, right? So
Hmm.
storytelling in a game is very driven. It is driven by you, the person. Like you get to make decisions that affect a lot of times the outcomes, right? So we know,
Hmm.
again, kind of harping back in my favorite world, AC, very much like the things that you do as you progress through the game affect what outcome you're going to get. There's a lot
Hmm.
of games that are like that, right?
Hmm.
And so I guess my question to you, because I want to ask you questions because I love to ask questions.
Yeah.
Um, if do you think that games limit the imagination or do you think they make it richer in comparison to, say, a book? I know you're not a big reader, so maybe even movies.
Yeah. I think I've held this belief for a long time. Is part of the reasons that at one point I really kind of got disillusioned with making movies. I think video games, for what we have right now, is the most optimal, engaging way to tell a story
Hmm.
because you tangibly interact with it. You are not passive in this mechanism of storytelling. You are active in it,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um, so I definitely think from a storytelling mechanic standpoint, video games are at the top. I think as far as the exploration in depth of the type of stories you can explore, that still is held by books, just because it's much more accessible in a way that to get those worlds and those ideas out, right?
Hmm.
And also the mechanism of authoring and writing and storytelling is so much more diversified because of the access. And there's not sure people can be kind of put into certain groups, I guess, if you want, but there's variations of ideas and beliefs and motives that are expressed in books. There's less groupthink that has the potential to happen in regards to storytelling in books, where people who go into the field of filmmaking or people who go into the film of game dev, they tend to stick to certain groups or tribes speaking in regards to the way they think about things. And that inhibits their ability to explore ideas or perspectives that are maybe outside of what they're used to or what they feel like deserves to have the spotlight. Um, and I think movies kind of exist as an interesting in between to some extent. Um, the mechanism of movies allow you to explore things with less depth as both games and books because they're just shorter, right?
Hmm.
Movies are at max 3-4 hours. I mean, at max, right? We're talking about a Tarantino movie or something crazy, like Once Upon a Time in America. Um, so it's just a briefer exploration of it, but sometimes that's all you need.
Sure.
It's one of the things I really love about movies is that movies can tell you a lot. What they tell you is important. What they also don't tell you is important.
Hmm.
because it allows you to build and think more about a world or a character or motivation, something that's being explored, compared to a book that might explore it more thoroughly. It might remove some of that mystery, and the same with a game, right? Um, I think video games are like the peak of exploring stories, at least the potential to, compared to those other ones.
Yeah, I kind of, when I look at games, I think about like when you get into a game, it's sort of like you get to take on the role of somebody different and you
Yeah.
see the world from someone else's perspective, whether it's the game creator or the character itself. You get to explore the world from their eyes, but also given their traits, their characteristics, their the strengths and the weaknesses they have, which
Hmm.
is very different from a movie or even from a book, right? Now, arguably, I'm a book lover. I love all things books, and the
Yeah.
beauty of a book that I believe is such a thing that I really love about a book, is that like the visual that I get to create,
Yeah.
right? I view it from my perspective, and I tell you this all the time. I hate when people come out with a movie from a book that I
Hmm.
love, right? If it's a book that I haven't read or I don't really am not that attached to, I just really don't care. But a book that I love, I don't want to see a TV show. I
Right.
don't want to see a movie. I don't want to see any of it because I have a picture in my head
Right.
and that's the picture I want to have. That's what I want to see. Right. And so
Right.
I think there's something that's like really great about that in a book because you get to explore your imagination of creating this world. And you really create a world that you can kind of go into and be in. And I think that there's a very therapeutic aspect to that. I think there's a therapeutic aspect to gaming and movies and all of the things. I think there's something really wonderful about that. Um,
Hmm.
but I do think that like um the uniqueness of the storytelling in a game is it's just different from a book or a movie, and that's what makes it stand out the way that it
Yeah.
does. Just like each of those others, they both serve a purpose and have a uniqueness. So I don't know that I could arguably say one is more richer or better than the other, but it's
Mm.
just
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
And you know me, I struggle with rating things. I struggle with like saying that something's better than another thing because I think
Hmm.
that there's positives and negatives to all of those things and exploring that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. One of the other questions I had, because I was kind of thinking about this too. This is something else that I was like thinking about. It's kind of on the same topic.
Hmm.
We see things like movies, for instance, they receive a lot of awards. There's Oscar level movies and things like that. Do you think that there will ever be an ability for a game to tell a story so noteworthy that it would be like Oscar level?
Yes, I think there's already multiple games that have done that.
Hmm.
The only way they can get that is if they're then adapted. But I think one game that immediately jumps to mind is The Last of Us Part One. The Last of Us Part One is an Oscar-worthy type writing. It's I've said before that game has better storytelling than 80% of shows and movies that have come out within the past, I guess, 15 years since it
Hmm.
was originally released. The way it realized the characters and the worlds, the way that it tugs on the emotion um, of everything and how you get invested in those characters. And that was represented in how successful the show was because the show was brilliantly written.
Oh yeah.
It was basically almost copy and paste from the game, right? So The Last of Us immediately jumps to mind. Um, when I think of something like storytelling, a game that you play that I've talked about before, um, it's not a lot of like a linear straight narrative storytelling, but a game like Inside tells a very compelling story, mostly through lore, through things you're experiencing and looking at.
Hmm.
But it's evocative, right? Like you play games and you feel these things, they weigh on your chest, right? And so um I think of something like that. I mean, yeah, I think there are a multitude of games that probably reach that. It's a little bit harder, right? Because games and movies more so than books are usually aiming for the widest audience possible, because I think that profit is still the main driver of those works of art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that books don't seek the profit, but I do think that the core, the North Star of a book is to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's the intent, the full on intent, before you get to anything else as far as profitability. So, matter of fact, in a lot of instances, someone writes the book and then see if they can actually sell it, right? Like the story is always the driver there. So yeah, I think that there's games that are capable of something like an Os. I mean, yeah, those two jump to mind immediately. I'd have to think of like what some other ones that could probably be compelling. Like if I think about best writing in a series, I'll be honest with you, the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is probably one of the better written pieces of Star Wars storytelling within the whole canon of that actual universe. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities there. And yeah, I always think it's really great when people actually recognize that the writers and game writers can actually write compelling things and really interesting things that kind of usurp what you would expect from a game compared to a movie. You know, um, yeah, that's kind of what I'm. That's my thoughts. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I really loved your when you brought up The Last of Us. Like I wasn't even thinking about that when I thought about this topic, but it's a really great example. I that is the only game that I watched like a playthrough of it,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm not really into that. Like that's not really my thing. I want to play the game myself. I want to be immersed in it.
Yeah,
But because the show was coming, and you wanted us all to watch it, I took the time to watch that and I enjoyed it. I had fun watching someone else play this game. And I thought that
yeah,
was really cool. And I looked it up while you were talking. It won 40 primetime Emmys across 2 seasons.
yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, it's so good. It
And
was
that's
such a
yeah,
good storyline.
and that's the game, right?
Mhm.
Like obviously, writers, whoever Craig Mazin, the showrunner, they do whatever they do, but it's mostly the game.
Mhm.
I had another game that kind of jumped in mind really quick, which I would be remiss to mention because it's one of David's favorite games.
Mhm.
David will be with us next week. Um, but the Hellblade series, so Hellblade's Newest Sacrifice and Hellblade's Newest Saga,
Mm.
those games are interactive explorations of
Mhm.
grief and psychosis.
Yeah.
And you would not get the same experience of that as a movie for
No.
sure, right?
Mm-mm.
Um, yeah, like what a great utilization of this medium to explore something like that genuinely, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's another thing that I think that if you translated that to a show or a movie, it's probably up at that caliber because of what it explores and how it explores it, the emotion, and how it like
Yeah.
really just grabs you. Yeah.
It's so there's so much emotion in it. And I remember and I think this would be an interesting podcast if you ever invited me back after this to talk about like the therapeutic side of that because
Hmm.
that's super like I would love to talk about therapy in video games because I have a
Oh yeah.
very hot take on all that. Oh, I don't know if it's hot take, but I think it is.
Oh
Um
yeah.
Hellblade, when I first tried to play the first game, and I had to stop because it was so emotional for me. There, just in the first, I don't know, like maybe 30 minutes of me playing, the the experience that you got, it was kind of like if you've ever been to like a 4D movie sort of feeling, right? Where it's like
Hmm.
you get the sounds coming from different angles and different things and that was the intensity that I was experiencing with that game and it created a lot of emotion for me. And I'm an
Yeah.
empath, so I get very emotional very easy. I get it.
Yeah.
But there was something very intense about the game and I had to stop. I want to play through it, but I know that it's going to be one that I have to be emotionally prepared for because it's a lot. But it's beautiful. It's intense, it's dramatic, and it's all of the things that it needs to be to really tell a good story. I agree
Oh
with you
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even talking about the first one specifically, how that game even starts, where she's paddling in the boat,
Yeah.
and she's talking, and then you hear the whispers of her voices in the head.
Mhm.
Immediately made me uneasy,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, I don't know about this." And then they kind of have the exploration of the game mechanics, and you have to fight essentially these like shadow demons.
Mhm.
And I'm like, ugh, this game is beautiful. It's great, right? It's heavy, it's tough.
Mhm.
Um, especially again, exploring the aspect of grief with someone that's going through psychosis, or
Well,
has psychosis. Like it's crazy.
and psychosis can be a symptom of a lot of things, right? Like,
Hmm.
it may not be that she's, the psychosis was there before. It could be the psychosis became as a result of
Of a,
her
of a
grief,
right.
right? I don't know enough to like know, like I probably need to do more research before we talk more about it to see like what the intent was or where that was coming from. But there are situations where psychosis comes on as a symptom, not as like it's not the starting thing. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's very I know I've watched the preview for the second one, and I've watched some videos on the first one. Again, very, very emotionally, um, triggering sort of
Hmm.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, Now to kind of like carry on with that, one of the thoughts I also had was like as we're talking about like the word piece of it, but like, do you think that games will ever be studied the way that literature and movies are studied in schools,
Ooh.
in that sort of context? Because I think about like the way that we create art, right? And this is just
Yeah.
games are art, and we study
Yep.
art and we explore art. And do you think there will be a time where we finally acknowledge games for that and it shows up
Yeah.
in education?
Yeah.
And I don't even necessarily mean like, you know, college level sort of stuff, like even in schools. Like, do you ever
Yeah.
think there'll be a space for that?
I do because there eventually people of our generation and younger who actually view games as art, right? And are part of the whole even like the whole idea of like I forgot what the movement was, but essentially like the idea to make sure that you keep game preservation essentially, right? To make sure that you can actually interact with these pieces of art in the future, because a lot of companies are like, oh, this game doesn't make any money anymore, let's shut it down, right? It's on our server, and people are kind of saying, no, wait, this is art, we need to try to preserve it some way. I
Mhm.
do think it'll get there. I'm One thing that you said I immediately thought of is there's a there's a video essay. So I think the first way these are kind of explored is through like video essays that you can find on YouTube or something like that. And one that jumps to mind immediately is there's a video essay by a YouTuber named Racevic. I love his videos, but he did a video essay on the game Spec Ops: The Line. I've talked about Spec Ops: The Line. I love the game. I played it before, but that game examines the results of PTSD and different psychological effects of war, right? Um, and he gives a video essay of like why it's compelling, how it does such a great job exploring the themes that it does. And I think that type of approach, that type of sensitivity to it will eventually, I think you will find eventually college courses that will look and say, hey, like let's explore something like Spec Ops: The Line, or hey, let's explore something like Hellblade, because we want to talk about this art and how it covers and explores a particular topic, right? The same you see with like books and movies. I think it's the same thing, right? At one point there weren't any classes about movies. Now there are. I had a class I was in that examined movies like The Fall and some like, French modern movies and stuff like that. I think it'll be the same with games. We're just in the process of getting there. But yeah, there's too many compelling games with a depth of interesting art and themes explored to not eventually reach that level of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know this sort of turned into more of an interview probably for you than like a me talking about a topic, but I love discussing things with you. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And so knowing what I know about you, which is that you love bad movies. Bad movies are
Hmm.
your favorite thing.
Hmm.
But I know you like good movies too. But bad movies, I know they're your favorite.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one story-driven game to replace your favorite movie, like not necessarily your favorite bad movie, because I know you love a lot of bad movies, but
Hmm.
like your favorite movie, whether it's favorite bad or, favorite good. If you had to pick one story-driven game to replace that favorite movie, what would the game be and what would the movie be?
Ooh. Ah. Um. Oh man. So, oof. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go pretty obvious here. It's Ghost of Tsushima,
Ooh,
and because I also don't play a lot of story-driven games.
yeah,
I
that's
play a
true.
lot of open world games or a lot of
That's
strategy
true.
games.
Hmm.
So it's Ghost of Tsushima, and it is God, it's so hard, but it is replacing Sicario.
Oh, wow.
It's it's a tie
You
between
love
I love
Sicario.
Sicario. It's a tie between Sicario and Nightcrawler. Those are like a couple of my
Okay.
favorite
Okay.
movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, I would say that's probably it.
Hmm.
It's not gonna replace my favorite movie of all time, that which is The Godfather. Nothing, I can't replace that. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll go Sicario. I'll go Sicario. Um, yeah, it's tough.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's tough.
Interesting. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, incredible storyline, incredible
Yeah,
visuals. It was engaging. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I get it. That
yeah.
makes sense to me. But I'm shocked, Sakar, because you love that movie.
I do love it. I was trying to figure out, should I do Nightcrawler instead? But um, I mean, that movie is so brilliantly wrote and shot, and Jake Gyllenhaal is just so incredible in that movie. And that's not to say, I mean, again, I think about Sicario, you think about Emily Blunt, you think about Benicio del Toro, and man, I forgot the other guy. What's the guy from Get Out? I forgot his name. I haven't seen him in a while. That's why I keep forgetting it. You want to look up his name real quick
Yeah, I'm
for me?
looking
Is
it
that what you're
up.
doing right now?
Yeah.
It's David something, right? Or Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Um, yeah, like that movie's so great. But yeah, I guess I'd give it, if I'm basically looking at it like, if you had to take one away, which one
Hmm.
would I which one would I feel better about you taking away? It'd be Sicario.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
What about
Very
you?
cool. I can't answer that.
What?
I literally, because I can't pick a favorite movie. You know me, I can't pick a favorite anything. I struggle with this. Storytelling. So there is a game, and I can't remember the name of it. So it was one of the first games that you got me to play
Mm-hmm.
when I started back gaming again, because you got me back into gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was a very beautiful, very slow, very cozy game, and
Mm-hmm.
it had like a storyline. But it was like it's a very grief-driven game.
I know what you're talking about.
What is it called?
Spirit Fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I adored that storytelling.
Yeah.
However, I don't know that I'd want to replace that with any movies. Um, I think that was a it was a very beautiful game, and it was very impactful for what I wanted it to be, for like
Yeah.
what I was, because I was kind of grieving at that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Grieving a lot of things, and it was like kind of what I needed at that moment. I thought that was a really good story. But arguably, I think um I can't pick a
Yeah.
favorite storytelling game, and I can't pick a favorite movie because I stink at that. I think there's too much good in all of these things. There was I don't know if he's a TikToker or a YouTuber or what he is, but his name is Michael, and he's a librarian guy, and he just started. He's going to do Reading Rainbow. He's
Hmm.
bringing back Reading Rainbow, and he did a hot take or a controversial topic or controversial take where he said all books deserve 5 stars because people put their
Mm.
time, their energy, their heart, their story, their souls into these things.
Hmm.
And um, even if it's not something that you like or something that doesn't fit your cup of tea, like it deserves 5 stars because somebody worked hard on that thing. And I thought that was a really cool way of looking at things. And that's kind of how I look at things a lot of the
Mm.
time. As goofy and judgmental and funny as I can be about certain goofy things, right? I kind of agree with that about most things. Like, even if it's not for me, that doesn't mean it's not a 5 star worthy thing. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think you'd probably know that I'm basically diametrically opposed to that kind of
Yes.
thought.
Yes.
However,
Yes, I do.
um, because I feel like I get it. To me, a book is the destination, and the
Mhm.
destination can be a trash destination. That doesn't mean there wasn't any value in the journey.
Sure.
So that's where I'm kind of like, I think look at it the same as like video games. Like you made a terrible game. That does not mean that you're a terrible creative or that you aren't creative or that you don't have the ability to do that. You just missed. And it's okay that you missed.
Sure.
And it's okay that that people feel like you missed.
Sure.
Um so it's
But
like I get it. Like I understand that perspective too. Um
I'm going to argue with you because just because you think they missed doesn't
uh-huh.
think I think they missed. Doesn't mean that this guy over here thinks that they missed.
Uh-huh.
You think they missed.
Right. That's true. Functionally, in a society, right? I'm going to use that meme. In a society, if
Mhm.
100 people look at something and five say this is great and 95 says this missed, functionally, it missed.
But it
Like
was
if
good for those 5.
it was good for those five.
And
God bless the five. Take nothing away from that, right?
sure.
But the other 95 are saying this is a miss. I'm going to go someplace else.
Okay, let them.
Exactly.
I mean, if we think about that though, like how often do we allow the influences of other people to determine how we vote, right? Or how we perceive something, right?
Hmm.
And we are living in a society that is so groupthink,
Hmm.
polarizing groupthink probably at the moment, right? But like there's such a groupthink mentality that happens that like if one person says, so many people just follow that because
Mm.
they're afraid of not,
Yeah.
right? And that takes some of the autonomy of humans away, and I don't mean to do that. But there's a lot of times where you'll see somebody be like, "Oh, I really like this thing." People around them are like, "Oh, I hated it. It was awful." And slowly they buy into that perception that, "Oh, yeah, that
Right.
thing stunk." It's like, well,
Right.
no, but you loved it 10 minutes ago. Keep
Yeah.
loving it.
Yeah. When you have cases of that, I think of something like, for instance, No Man's Sky, which is the game we brought up. When that game was released, it missed. It was bad. Um, it has since then, with change and iterations and improvements, become arguably the best space exploration game you can buy.
Mhm.
Right. Um, some people probably thought it was a banger when it came out. Um, but I think it's important sometimes to have patterns. I think organic, genuine patterns emerge that can help direct some things in regards to finding where there may be an ability for you or an opportunity for you to do more with something.
Sure.
Um,
Like being like having constructive criticism.
Sometimes you need the bad book to get the good book. Like
Sure.
right in that instance, that's what I'm saying. In that instance, that is a 5 star because that's a
Sure.
part of the journey. That's what got you
Mhm.
to the end result. But
Mhm.
we gotta rank the end result at some point. Um, and they all can't get A's for effort. I mean, I guess they can, but like you give an A for the effort, but the end result, the destination needs to have its own kind of value assigned to it, just so we know how to move and do things. I think.
Mhm.
So I understand where he's coming from, where you're coming from. I think that that's a much more kind of positive way to frame things and think about things. But I just understand the function of it. Like, is this thing good or bad? Because I got bleak to do. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? It's bad. All right, I'm gonna wait on the next one.
Is this thing worth my
Right?
energy or not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure. But again, I don't disagree with that concept. I think constructive criticism is great. I think that's the way things can improve and get better. But I don't think that one person's perspective on it
Mhm.
is like the be all end all, if
What
that
about
makes
what about
sense.
5 million perspectives on it?
What do you mean?
What about 5 million perspectives? What about like what's the number that begins to lend to this being more kind of a, I don't want to say objective or subjective, but it becoming more of a truthful assessment of something rather than just a lot of bias. Like, what's the
Well,
number?
yeah.
You know?
Well, and I want to be clear, like I don't think that like that's the only way that these things get labeled bad is
Mhm,
there's some sort of bias and groupthink attached to it. But
mhm,
I do think that like that doesn't diminish, like even if it's 5 million people saying they didn't like that game, but there's 5 people who say they liked it, that
mhm.
doesn't take away from the fact that they think that's a good game.
Yes, but it does say something about whether it is a good game. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're trying to go for here,
Yeah.
but no.
Okay.
Right? Like, if it's a good game to them, it gets to be a good game to them.
We made it so far without a disagreement. We made it so far.
Oh, no. We're always going to disagree on something. Come on
I
now.
know, I know, but we made it so far without one.
But I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think I didn't communicate it well in the concept. Like, when I say, like, sometimes it's influence, it's not always influence, but that does happen a lot of the time. Like,
It
what was
does.
that movie that, like, my brother and I really liked? Bright. Right? We really liked that movie on Netflix.
Mhm.
Everybody said it was a terrible movie. Critics said it was terrible. People said it was terrible. But actually, I thought that movie was quite brilliant. And I wanted the next movie. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
never coming, right?
yeah.
Because people didn't like it enough. But I thought that was a good movie. So you're saying because everybody else thought it was bad that I'm wrong?
Um, no, I'm saying that you like the bad movie.
It was a good movie to me though, right? It's not your bad
Yes,
movie, right? It's not your bad movies.
right.
You like movies that are bad movies that like everybody's gonna say is a bad movie,
Yeah.
but you think they're good movies.
No.
Yes, you do. We have this debate all the time. Don't get on here and start acting
Like,
like you don't be saying
are
this.
you saying that I think they're actually good movies, or or they're good from the
No,
perspective of I
they're
was
good
entertained by them?
movies for you. Like you
Yeah.
and I are having two definitions of good, right?
Yes.
You have a definition of good and bad being some sort of quantitative thing, like or qualitative thing, right? Like you can identify and say like these points make it good, these points make it bad, right?
Mhm.
Like that you're going to measure it up to, right?
Mhm.
Whereas I'm saying I'm measuring this up to how does this movie make me feel? Or how does this game make me feel?
Mhm.
How does the story like connect to me with my emotions and where I'm at?
Mhm.
And if that speaks to me more than what like the critics choice say,
Mhm.
then that thing is better to me. I don't care if somebody else says it's bad. I think it's good because it's aligned with things that are more important to me.
Yeah, I
So
understand that. Yeah.
who are you to say that like this is a good game because it meets X? Well, this is the criteria that decides what a good game is. That may not be the same criteria that I have for a good game.
100%. What we're trying to do is what you're saying is take the qualitative and quantify it some way so we can dispatch information to people so they can make a choice and keep it moving. And so if the qualitative data we get is that 5 people love this and 5 million people hated it, quantitatively, as objective as we can get of an assessment of that, it's bad, right? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I get you're talking to someone that loves bad movies, loves bad games. I've talked about the Guild 2 Renaissance. That is an objectively bad game, but it gets some warm fuzzies in me, and I love playing it. But no one's going to ever walk to me and say, "Hey, you love this game? Is it a good game?" No, brother, keep it moving. Find something else. If you want an actual good game, keep it moving. But if you're looking for these certain things, this game might work for you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it's still a bad game. whether it works for you or not. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I know.
I don't agree with that. You
I know.
think it's a good game, you enjoy it, you can label it as a good game.
This is interesting because this kind of brings me back to something that Corey said, which is he said he doesn't like bad games. He only likes good games. And I'm like, that's an absurd statement to make. But it kind of seems like you agree with Corey
What?
from the standpoint of his perspective. Like, if you enjoy something, why would you think it's bad?
That's
If it's good for you,
that's not
right?
what you just said he said. You
Well, he
said
said that
he only likes good movies, he doesn't, or I'm sorry, he only likes good games, he doesn't like bad games.
yeah, he only likes and plays good games. He doesn't play bad games, right? But like you're saying, like if you're one of those five, that's a good game,
So that's
right?
what's his perspective. He's saying that like if he plays a game, it's a good game.
I think that's where he was coming from. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
My initial take of that was he only plays games that other people say are good. He won't
No,
play
no,
the
no, no.
ones that are bad.
No, 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 no,
No.
no.
So what he's saying is all games that he plays are good games.
Yes.
Yeah. See, but I think most of the time I won't even label good or bad when I talk about a game. I'm like, this is what I liked about the game. If you like those things, it'll be fun. If you don't like those things, find a different game. That's kind of how I talk about them, though. Is that
Right.
fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Whenever you ask me, like, what'd you think of it? I can't give you it's good, it's bad. I go, this is what I think of it, and give you a very long, probably too thought out explanation that you didn't ask for.
Hmm.
Fair?
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't have this very definitive way of going good game, good movie, good book, bad book.
Right. Yeah, and that sometimes causes us to have to figure when we're trying to find something to watch or find something to play. We kind of have to have that translation with one another
Well, yeah,
in regards
that's
to.
the other reason that I don't like to share things that I like with you because you
Oh
are
no,
so critical of them.
I'm not critical of them. I just have to categorize things as to I
Yeah,
have
but
a.
then you start to ruin it for me. The
I'm not
thing
trying
that
to
I
do that.
like.
All I'm saying is, look, we have a finite amount of time. The end is nigh. We have to be able to identify the things that we want to invest this fleeting mortality we have in. And so I just try to gauge and judge things by
Well,
that, and let's
how are
keep it
you going to
moving.
know until you experience it?
Yeah, I got hunches. I got feelings.
Okay, well then go with your hunches and you might miss out on something pretty amazing. I'm willing to at least give it a try and see how I feel about it.
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, how many times I picked up a book and been like, "Oh, this is terrible. Like
And
I
then you
can't get
finish it.
this storyline." Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I want to know how it's going to finish. I want to see it to the end. I can't, like, I don't agree with this character's choices. This is making me so upset, right?
Uh-huh.
But I never say this is a bad book. This is a terrible book. Nobody should read this book. I just am not connecting with this book. And I want to find a connection with this book. So I'll finish it.
Yeah, and for me, it would be this book suck. I'm gonna read something else.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
fine. But at least you started it and gave it a try.
Yeah, I mean, but eventually I made a determination that it sucks and I'm gonna read something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Which I think is
Sure.
indicative also of how we play games. Um, you tend to play the games that you want to play longer.
Yeah.
And for me, like I said, if it doesn't grab me, I'm like, all right, this thing sucks. Let's move to the next one until I find the thing that sinks its claws into me, and then I
I
ride that wave until it's over. You
I
know?
think that there's been so many times where I've read a book or a movie or a game where when I gave it just a little bit longer, I
Hmm.
got sucked into it.
Yeah,
I got where the message was or the connection was or what the story was. Like it showed up for me. And so I'm willing to give it that time. I get it. Like time is finite and it's all we have. But if it's something that potentially is going to give something back to you, it might be worth to spend an extra 10, 15 minutes into that and see what comes of it. That's just my thought.
I think those are fairly wise words. Um, yeah, those are fairly wise words. I think a lot of people could probably benefit from having a little bit more of that approach with how they assess things, not just games, but again, movies and TV and other things in life. Yeah.
Did I make
Um,
this too much about books today? I'm sorry. Did I do that?
no, we're talking about storytelling, right? And so all these
Yeah.
mechanisms of storytelling, right? Because that's the thing you're talking about. You want to give the story a chance because
Yeah.
you want to experience the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of more so of I'll experience it to a certain point. If I'm not liking this story's got to go because there's probably a million of them, a million other ones out there that I can connect with. So I'm just gonna, you know, spoil the choice, I guess.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Well, we are near the end of the podcast episode, which means it's time for final thoughts. We can give a final thought about anything that is related or unrelated to this podcast episode. So, who wants to give a final thought first? Am I going
You.
first?
Yeah, you go
Okay.
first.
Sure. My final thought is, as I said before, Ghosts of Yote is coming out tomorrow. I ordered that limited edition Ghosts of Yote controller through Best Buy. That is, they have it, and I will get it tomorrow as well. Hopefully, for Christ, I will have something like that. I haven't gotten any kind of notification that, hey, we have it, or hey, we're getting your order together, because I guess it's not technically October 2nd. But I fear that I'm going to get a notification saying, hey, Derp, we don't have it anymore, Derp. And then I'm going to be, not happy.
It,
But yeah,
isn't that kind of what happened with your like the controller that you just tried to buy?
yeah,
Where it
that's
was
what I'm
like,
saying about
oh,
the,
you
the
can't.
controller. Yeah.
Oh, I think you're talking about the actual game.
I had a little bit of fear about that too. I thought about possibly
Oh,
going to someplace and pre-ordering it just to make sure that I got a copy of it, because I'm flashing back to Dynasty Warriors Origins not being available for like 3
sure.
weeks.
Hmm.
Um, but if it's meant to be, it'll be. I just plan on, again, I have this kind of thing where I'm just against pre-ordering games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk in, say, I'm going to pick up Ghost of Yote, and then I'm going to pick up my controller, hopefully, and then I'm going to be done. And I will play them sometime this weekend because I'm probably not going to have time to play it this week. But yeah, that's my final thought.
Yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen that controller, it is beautiful.
Oh,
Just
yeah. Limited
FYI.
edition gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so pretty. It was really super, super pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
Final thought. I really don't have a final thought. I don't know. I don't know how you guys come up with a final thought. My final thought is I think that you guys do such an amazing podcast and I love listening. And I think more people need to listen. And I also think you need to get your merch because
Oh,
it is awesome stuff right here.
I can second that final thought wholeheartedly. Well, the final thought's out the way. That means we're at the end of level 141 of the Thoughts and Players podcast. I want to thank my lovely guest, Shonda, again for being here. Um, if you want to hear more, if you want to hear more of the podcast, there's a couple of ways to do that. You can like, subscribe, and follow on your preferred podcast service. You can also like, follow, and share us on the socials. Um, if you want to hear more podcasts with Shonda being featured as a guest, write some comments and let us know. We'll try to work on that. Maybe we can do another one where we kind of explore more of the therapeutic aspects of video gaming, because that's a really interesting component that doesn't get explored a lot. Um,
I also think it'd be fun if we talked about the couple game that we play, like the several of them, because
yes,
that'll be an interesting conversation between you and I. If anybody wants
yeah,
to hear us debate, let's talk about these games.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, if you want to support us, there's a couple ways you can do that. One, the merch. Shondi's got the shirt. I've got the phone case for a phone that needs to be replaced. We also have hats and sweatshirts and hoodies and different stuff
So
there
the
as
face
well.
masks,
Stickers. I think so.
yeah, I've got one of those. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Also, we have a Patreon. If you want to support us there, we have 3 different tiers: a $2, $5, and $7 tier, all with little bits of exclusive goodies. Check out there. And again, I will repeat the announcement that we're going to have a Let's Play series of the Executive Movie Industry Tycoon, nice little clicker game that's going to go up on YouTube later this week as well. So be sure to check that out if you want to support us there. And if you're interested in it. But that is it for me. Shonda, was there anything else you wanted to add? Alrighty. Oh, I think you're actually muted.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for stopping by. Well, that is it for me. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next level.